Hello everybody, so today I'm going to show you all how to change the oil here on the GX75, or at least how I do it. First thing I always do is remove the panels, not those because those don't get in the way.
I have to go to the store and get some
Yep.
garbage stickers, and I'm going to be going to pick my prescription up, okay? So I'll do
Okay.
that right now.
Yeah, once you got these panels removed, you've got two options. Now, well, three. You could remove that if you want. You could leave this how it is and try and manage it like this. Or, option 3, you could try and remove the tire. Although it really wouldn't make too much of a difference, it can help. Now, I'm going to just show you guys a bit of evidence here, but I have, in fact, changed the oil before. Yes, I keep the old oil because it does have a purpose. You guys can see that container right there. That's the oil from when I first got the mower. You guys can tell that oil is really black. And it's been like that since I took it out. This oil is starting to turn black, so it's about time we change it before it gets black and decreases the engine's health, which this thing's health is already decreased because of that oil. Now, one important thing to note that makes the job easier is there is no oil filter. Or at least I don't think there is. I've never really seen an oil filter on here. And I've gone to small engines class in high school. And while we took a push mower engine and took it apart and rebuilt the whole thing, never saw an oil filter. Now, this engine is pretty much a push mower engine, but it's configured a bit differently. A bit more compact. It's not as, it can't be entirely big, and it's got to have a lot more safety because, well, it's on a vehicle with the drive system. I also got more power and more torque. But I'm going to just tell you the steps, and then we're going to do them. Now, quick note to either look it up or use your owner's manual to check how much oil you have. I had to look it up because I don't have this thing's owner's manual or the engine maintenance manual, which both of those surprisingly come in at around $50 per booklet. Yeah. At least last I heard. But yeah, first thing you want to do is you want to take off the oil cap because it relieves pressure. You want to put your bottle, container, or whatever you have on there and ready, and you want to slowly unscrew the, I'm guessing a valve screw, because it's a screw, but it acts like a valve. So without further ado, let's do that. If you don't know what valve screw thing I'm talking about, this right here has to be unscrewed. And that allows oil to drain out of here. Now, since we had an accident not too long ago, blowing off the valve cover, which the seal was perfectly fine. So although this mount is broke, I was able to get this screwed back on. Got them screws for free, by the way. What are they going to do next for me? Put me on the logo? Probably. Yeah, without further ado, I'm going to show you guys our oil level. Why I say this is going to be easy, because normally it can take you up to half an hour to an hour to do this. Yeah, it's at the add line. And you guys saw how I kind of did this, shook it off a little bit. That doesn't really change it, because this oil is starting to stick to it. You guys can see this looks healthy right on the end here. The back is starting to turn black, and the oil that was coming out of the The oil that was coming out of the oil pan was actually really, really black. I might have to take a vacuum or a shop vac and take off that valve cover, and yet again, just suck that thing dry, get everything out of there that I can. Now, this engine in particular takes about 1.2 quarts, or just about 1.1 gallons, or for other people, 36 ounces. So, I've got 2 of these. I gotta go get my wrench set, but that, I've got a blue container for a container, and just gonna grab my wrench set. Should be on our way. This wrench set has been bouncing around, so it's not in too good of condition. You guys can clearly see. But this is 1 quart. So it's going to be a little bit over. But we're going to go about to the 200. Just a little bit below it. So it's about 189. For 189 milliliters for 0.2 quarts. It's a really big decimal number. I don't want to be attempting to explain. And yet again, I have lost the small wrench. Awesome. Now, this is a standard set, so it's not millimeters. I do believe this is either, I'll give you a range, it's about 7 to 9 millimeter. Just about. I have 1 millimeter wrench in here, which happens to be a 12. 11, this is about, no, that's too small. I'm just figuring out what fits right now. Trying to have you guys watch. Zoom me in here. Can indeed see. This one doesn't fit, so that is a 12 millimeter fit. It's way too big, isn't it? Yep, way too big. So a wee bit of a problem. One is too big, and one is quite obviously too small. Very obviously too small. So I'm gonna try again here. No, it does not fit. Luckily, I've got wrench, not a wrench, but a pliers here that should work. On a very useful pair of pliers, I should say. These things are kind of chunky, so they're not gonna fit very well. It's not very easy for me to hold these either. Now, let's see here. Yeah, okay. Going to attempt to don't happen to, no, I do not. Okay, so that's a more of a problem now. Highly doubt it's gonna work, but let's see if I can. No, I'm not gonna be able to fit a socket in there. See if these work. Yeah, my wrench supply is not very great. I'm also not entirely sure which way this is supposed to turn either. It doesn't seem to move at all. That is going to be a problem. So I'm gonna go look for some wrenches. So after a long time, I managed to knock it loose and kind of bent a bottle here, so that way you can put this in here and now loosen it. I'm just gonna bottle here. I'm gonna start to loosen this. Yeah, we're just gonna let this drain now. Just gotta attempt to loosen this up a bit more. Yeah, I'm gonna let this drain for a little while. Oh, key importance. Take that out. Look at that. It is draining much faster now. Just gonna wipe this off here. Just using my pants. There, that's all clean. Take that, and kind of a cool feature. Use the top here to just hold this. Just don't forget it there when you turn it on, otherwise you might have some problems. But yeah, just gonna put that there. Maybe see if I can loosen this a bit more. So you don't want to loosen this too much. If you do, the wheel's gonna come out where the screw is. And that is a big no-no. Oh, clean this out a little bit so I can see if oil does start to drip from here. But kind of clean out this engine bay as well. So like how I did the Kratzman, I have to do the same with the GX75. The RX-73 could also use a pretty good cleaning, but see here, it was at the fill line, so we can I'm just gonna take dipstick, dip it in, take her back out. See, we're pretty good. It's coming out plenty good now. So yeah, I'm gonna let this drain, maybe loosen the cap a bit more, play around with it, and see how much oil comes out. It's still draining. Obviously, if you really do need to speed up the process that bad, you could, might not taste too good, but you could try and blow on here. It could help a little bit. But I'm gonna let that sit for a little while. Okay, so it's probably been about a minute. I'm just gonna blow into the oil tube, and you're gonna see how much this works.
Whoa. Yeah. Before I had the perm, she had cut that thing off.
Yeah, you can see how much it comes out now. So pretty good when the thing's being blown into. I'm just gonna kind of suck it so it stops the oil from coming out. I'm gonna have this all go into the bottom. Now go into it to restart the process and let it go. Just kind of do this for a little while and see how far we get.